I believe we have sound.
Well, let's go ahead and get this thing going. We don't have everything 100% right now because this is episode 0 of Soto Nation's Conspiracy Files. We working everything out. We getting everything going. We got 11 viewers so far checking us out. So we just gonna go ahead and get this started. Now I know y'all didn't hear anything for a few minutes. We're gonna have some music put in there a little later on. So please check it out. Right now, we just gonna go ahead and introduce the team. It's yours truly, Llewellyn. Right now, you know what? Everybody, go ahead and introduce yourself.
China Miss Jones here.
Peace, brother. Israel Jamal here.
And you're one and only Victor Moan in the building. What's happening, y'all? What's going on? Black people, white people, purple people, brown, yellow, and green, all over the world right now. This one is for the world, Craig. For the world.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And even though we're experiencing a lot of technical difficulties is all good because anytime you start anything serious, real, and new, it's always difficult. Always difficult. But we're gonna get it real tight and right and nice and actually perfect it before we go ahead and broadcast on the platform. But I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in right now. So, what are we gonna get this thing started with?
Well, you know what? First, I want to give a shout out to Tommy. Shout out to the Soto Nation. Shout out to the team. You know what I'm saying? And I want to give you know what I'm saying, shout out to all the people, you know what I'm saying, that's going to be interested into some of the things we're going to get into, you know, like these conspiracies. You know what I'm saying? We're going to cover a lot of conspiracy theories. Llewellyn, you got a little feedback. I think one of your joints is over. But we're going to get into a lot of conspiracies and things like that on this channel. So you know what I'm saying. Be prepared. You know what I'm saying, to interact into the conversations, and you know, feel free to leave comments. And you know what I'm saying. If you have something that you want us to cover, you know what I'm saying, or feel like you're missing out on something, then feel free to drop, you know, a line on Llewellyn, and he will see it. All right, he will see it. Even if he blocks you, he's going to see it. All right. Make sure. All right. You get it out there. If we're not on it, you know what I'm saying, let us know we're not on it, and we'll get on it. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get right into it.
Let's go ahead and get into it. We actually have some topics lined up for you guys, and I think the first one, the most important one we need to deal with is actually, I think Yisrael is gonna cover that. What is it? It's the term conspiracy theory. Yisrael, will you break that down for everybody real quick?
All right. Peace to everybody. First off, shout out to Tommy and all of the Soul Nation. Conspiracy theory was a term that was made popular during Watergate. Basically, the term is used to knock down anybody who thinks out of the box. Any type of independent reporting, anything that doesn't go with the main narrative of the story, they use this term to discredit their work and their way of thinking. If you don't know what Watergate is, real quick, it was a scandal that happened in 1967, I believe, where the DNC was broken into, and once it reached the president, he tried to cover it up. So if you think about, we break this term down, first of all, to conspire means one or two more people to come up with a conspiracy. And theory, we all have theories on things. We believe in the theory of gravity and relativity, and also sometimes we have to break down these words before we allow people to demonize them.
Amen.
So yes, what I want to do is I want to ask everybody on the panel just to give an overall view of what you think the term means to you. Anybody can start.
Don't let me open my mouth. Y'all know I'm the most talkative person here.
The term to me depends on the individual. It depends on their education and the way they relate to the word conspiracy. Growing up, one believes that it's no big deal. They look at it like, everybody says, oh, that's just a conspiracy. You look at it overall like it means nothing. To me, the word means cover up. Cover up something that could benefit us, you as an individual, or not benefit you. However you look at it, it's a cover up. Period.
All right. And what about you, Vic?
The term conspiracy, like China was touching on, is right. It's just a fancy way of, you know what I'm saying, covering up a lie. Because see, a conspiracy, when it's, you know what I'm saying, on the other side, they'll throw that word conspiracy to, try to put some type of deep, disbelief on the situation, like, various things that have happened throughout history. But when we put the word conspiracy on you, the individual, that word conspiracy can give you 75 years to life. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? That one word, if you go into a courtroom and they charge you with conspiracy, you'll end up doing, you feel what I'm saying, 75 years to life. But when you turn around and use the word conspiracy, they'll be like, yeah, no, man, that's just a conspiracy. So, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like the word conspiracy itself is a conspiracy.
Exactly. The word used on you will end your life. But when you use it against them, yeah, look, they just brush it under the rug like,
Right. And so I guess what I think everybody pretty much gave a good explanation. I'll add to it with this. Conspiracy. The root word is conspire, and to conspire is for a group of people to come together. It might be a small group of people, but normally in secrecy they come together and they come up with a plan to do something that that maybe they should not be doing. In very rare occasions, a conspiracy could be a good thing. And when it's used in the term conspiracy theory, oh yeah, real quick, I want to apologize. And even though I'm not in the business of apologizing, I want to apologize for the chat. I failed to use an encoder, and that's the reason why we don't have a chat. We will have a chat in the future. But anyhow, the term conspiracy theory was more of a derogatory term, like Yisrael said in the beginning, to make people seem like they were spooks. One of the most famous conspiracy theorists would be, say, Alex Jones, David Icke. Y'all name some more conspiracy theorists.
Mark Dice.
William Cooper.
Yeah, you heard of Mark Dice? Yeah, Mark Dice has, Mark Dice, I think, is probably one of the most dangerous, man, because he literally like pushes those buttons to the point where they might come after him. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that like there's certain levels that you don't poke at, and he likes to go to those levels, man. And look, I'm not trying to lose my life to go that far. I'm just saying.
And you know what? On that note, I want everyone to know that when we're doing this right now, we're not necessarily stating things as if they're facts. We're actually looking at things from a more skeptical point of view, and we're just trying to examine things and see what we can find. We're not necessarily saying that everything that we say here is true. So don't think that we
Right.
have a guarantee behind everything that we're saying right now.
Yeah.
In the famous words of Tommy Sotomayor, and yes, we will be using a lot of Tommyisms. You got to look it up, Negroes.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You
And
got to
and
look it up.
and look, even like I said on that level, yeah, man. I like I said, you have to be aware of what's going on around you. You have to.
Awesome. Amen.
You have to, man. And people don't they don't pay attention to the conspiracy theories because they'll hear that word and it'll immediately turn them off. Like, oh, okay, they're about to show us some fake stuff. But
Exactly.
we have to, just, I mean, it takes 4 or 5 minutes to look at something just to be sure that it is what it is. I mean, this is the mistake I think we make as adults. We feed into to the cycle. We feed into that circle that they want us to be in. We couldn't get our grandmothers to look. So when we become grandparents ourselves, now we ain't looking. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. When we were seeing the same things happen, the transformation. I mean, one of the like heavy things that I noticed even growing up is the drug era, like how it was one time promoted as a good thing, and then they finally let you know the truth like 15 and 20 years later. You see what I'm saying? Uh, it's almost like an ongoing cycle because when I look 20 years, then now we fast forward another 20 years, they're promoting it again like it's a good thing. I mean, it's amazing. It's utterly amazing. The
It's
the
in
the, the cycle.
WO.
Yeah, the gigantic circle
Hmm.
that we all walk and don't even realize we're walking in that circle. You know what I'm saying? It's really really crazy.
Right, right, right. So, I just wanted to say real quick that ultimately what a conspiracy is or conspiracy theory is, it really is one big circle. Most of the times we're not going to really get to the nitty gritty of it because in a way you have to be a part of the conspiracy to know all the details of it. And
Yes. Hmm.
I can speak for I think everybody on this panel. We're not a part of any conspiracy. I guess we're just a part of, we're part of Solar Nation. We're trying to uncover some things. We're trying to uncover
Yeah,
some
we
truth.
exposing, right? We exposing conspiracy. That's what's happening over here.
Yeah.
See, I mean, clear cut. All salt, no sugar. The conspiracies are going to be investigated from this point on. Like from every angle to you know what I'm saying? Like whatever comes on the plate, whatever comes on the panel, it's going to be like really dug into, bit by bit, bit by bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so look, I guess we may as well move on to our next topic. We're gonna actually do a more in-depth analysis and explanation of the term conspiracy theory in our actual first episode. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the other some of the other topics that we're gonna be looking at. Um, the second topic is, I think it's Miss China's topic. It's China Miz's topic, which is subliminal messages.
Yes, sir.
Tell
I
us,
think
Miss China. Tell us, China Mrs. What subliminal messages is all about.
that's what I intend on finding out. I think that there's a reason behind each and every one of them, whether it be a sign, a public sign, public announcement through the internet, or something you just see driving down the expressway, the big old signs. I believe behind each and every one of them, there is a hidden agenda, and I guess we can say programming us. I want to get down to why someone made up this whole Santa Claus bit. What does he represent? The Santa Claus himself, right down to the red suit. I refuse to ever lie to another child about Christmas. The Easter Bunny. What does the bunny have to do with our Lord rising from the grave or from the tombstones. That has nothing to do with Easter. What does Easter mean behind it? The food we eat. We have been subliminally so blind that we eat fast food like McDonald's on a daily basis. Some people. I want to break down what the whole McDonald's sign means. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys on the panel who can, just in the past 5-6 minutes we've been on here, I've learned a lot just from you guys already about the word conspiracy, which to me just taught me a whole lot. I'm trying not to give it all away right now. I'm not really good at this, but I want to know what's the reason behind it.
Well, yeah, I'm like totally following you, you know, with the Santa Claus issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, like if you really go into the in depth, just targeting him. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, y'all, if you're a Santa Claus fan, because
Mm-hmm.
Vic Damone is about to target Santa Claus. I sure am. I sure am. I'm about to go in on Santa. You know what? My daughter doesn't believe in Santa Claus. She doesn't believe in those. You know what? She knows that the chimney, that no, he's not going to come into the basement. No, he's not going
Exactly.
to do that. He's
And
not going to do.
losing a
My,
tooth, losing a tooth to a child, they should feel like they're growing. This is a stage where you're just getting so big. Why should I have to give you money because you lost a tooth? And then if you don't, then the kid is all upset that the tooth fairy feels some type of way about that individual because they didn't get a quarter or a dollar. We've
hey, look,
lied to our children. We're
look, I
hurting our
remember.
kids.
Right, and look, I remember being in the office when I was downtown,
Hmm.
and I had her with me. She was still 4 years old, and it was around Christmas time. I was like in the process of buying my house. So I was in the office, and there's other people, waiting in line or whatever, sitting down in the little waiting room.
Hmm.
So my daughter is who she is. You know what I'm saying? She's friendly, she's happy, she's bubbly, all that stuff. And one of the women in like the waiting room said to her, "So are you, you know what I'm saying? Can you?" She said something to her to the likes of, you know, um, "Are you waiting on Santa Claus, to come and see you?"
Hmm.
And my daughter, 4 years old, looked at that woman and said, "My mama and daddy is Santa Claus."
There you
Like
go.
I like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to keep it together when she said it. Like parents ain't supposed to be all like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm trying to keep,
Hey,
look,
real
parents
quick though,
don't
let
face.
me let me just interrupt real quick because I think it's important to kind of I guess understand what a subliminal message is, and then all right, look, check this out. Um, a subliminal message is a message that is beneath the conscious mind, or the perception of the conscious mind. Um, I'm sure most people have heard of subtweeting, or
Right.
other methods of just hinting at things. This is a basic sort of a subliminal message. But another example of a subliminal message might be the Little Mermaid, where
Yes.
uh, if you guys haven't looked at the cover of the Little Mermaid, there's a pretty much a huge penis
Hmm.
there as the castle or whatnot. But whenever you kind of like hide something in an image, or hide something in your words, or hide something in anything, and what we call embedding something into something for a particular subconscious purpose, this is the meaning of a subliminal message. And so what we're kind of getting at now is, what could possibly be the subliminal message behind a Santa, or behind a tooth fairy, or
Yes.
behind any of these other myths or stories that we deal with. So um, I just want to clarify that, and now, let you guys go ahead and just continue on. But I wanted to make sure that the audience kind of had a good idea of what we mean when we're talking about subliminal messages.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And it's just
Well,
like even with our awards, every award show, MTV, it could be anything that has to do with music. Their stage, just the way their stages are set up, it's straight Illuminati.
Look, you keep inspiring me to speak. Now look, what you guys, most people know about the Oscars, right?
Right?
Um, Now that little statue is actually a subliminal message. Now most people don't know. Most people don't know, but the statue is actually a subliminal message. What is a subliminal message of? Well, if you've done your research, you know that that statue looks exactly like the Egyptian god known as Ptah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, the only question left is uh, why would the Oscars embed or hide or conceal the fact that they are, awarding people with a statue of Ptah?
Right.
right.
See, this is the
I
way
think I'm a,
subliminal messages work. You never know why a person, what their motivation might be. It could be something positive. For all we know, they're trying to bless these people, but they're not outright with it. They don't say this is Ptah, but anybody who's done their research on Egyptian history or Egyptian mythology, we know that's Ptah. That looks exactly like Ptah. You can't say that you didn't get that from Egypt. You can't say that that's not Ptah because it looks exactly like Ptah, and the chances of the creative artist who came up with the design for the statue of just randomly creating that is pretty slim.
hmm
Um, so this is kind of like what we're talking about. What do you guys think about the Oscars? What are some possible explanations for that subliminal message?
Um, Me personally, I think that the elites, or whatever you want to call them, know the power of certain Egyptian, I guess, gods and goddesses, if you want to say, while they try to keep everybody else ignorant to the power of it.
hmm
That's just my personal thing.
I agree. I agree.
Well,
And for the audience,
go
go ahead.
ahead, you.
No, I was just saying for the audience, if you don't believe in subliminal messages, you're fed one about every 7 minutes in a TV show. And 90% of the commercials you watch, it's some type of subliminal message. Whether it's telling you to eat, to be fearful, to be sexually aroused, it's always some type of subliminal message in advertisement. And this is in print, commercials, this is in magazines, this is in television, every form of media that advertise has some type of subliminal message. Now, I don't necessarily mean something evil at times, but it could just be something as much as making you hungry, like I said, or making you fearful, or making you sexually aroused or something.
And this is
I
what.
seen
Go
I
ahead.
just seen a commercial with some women standing in front of a bush, and they were selling razors, and the women shaped these little bushes in front of their vagina as certain shapes we all know women do with shaving.
hmm
And do you think a 14-year-old child, or even a 10-year-old child, subconsciously doesn't pick up on that? That's what we mean by subliminal messages. When they're showing you one thing in one hand and pushing another thing with the other hand.
Absolutely.
All right, now every time someone speaks, I just get thoughts come to my mind. I guess this is just the way I operate. So excuse me
Get
if it
the
seems like
energy.
I keep interjecting.
Go
Get the
right ahead.
energy, baby.
Yes. Go
All right,
ahead.
but check this out. I just realized, or I just remembered, um, that ultimately what a subliminal message is a mechanism of this art or this science known as hypnosis. Hypnosis.
Hmm.
So an example of this would be like what we call an embedded command in hypnosis. Now I'm not using hypnotic methods right now, but I'm gonna try to come up with an example on the spot of a hypnotic command, which ultimately is a subliminal message. So if I'm not mistaken, one of the ways you could embed a command, for instance, maybe I wanted you to donate to me. So what I would do is surround the word donate to me with other words that don't really have anything to do with you donating to me. So basically, I sidestep your conscious mind and um, and then implant the suggestion, the power of suggestion. What a subliminal message really relies on is the power of suggestion. So I would say, yeah, I was walking down the street and this little kid said, "Donate to me," and I decided that I wasn't gonna donate, but you know. And so what happened was I pretty much denied that I wanted a donation, but I raised my voice when it came to the word donate to me, which ultimately planted it in your mind to donate to me.
Right.
And this is sort of the way that that was not necessarily a strong example, but this is sort of the way that you would embed a command and ultimately make a subliminal message to people. So you just kind of have to look at, I guess, things from a slightly different angle and realize that the words can be manipulated in such a way where the message may actually be
Okay.
the message might actually be against what it's actually saying. Like for instance, it's almost like if somebody says, "Don't leave the chat room," or "Don't leave this particular channel. Everybody who's in here, stay here now. Don't leave." In a way, that suggests that they should leave.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I
And
said
check this
don't
out.
if I say don't stay here, don't stay in this particular room. Don't stay in this room. Matter of fact, don't stay in this room if you want to learn something.
That
Don't
touches on
stay in
a
this room.
that
What I'm
touches
doing is
on a bit of
actually
reverse.
commanding you to stay in the room, but I'm doing it by using a negation, if that makes
Reverse
sense.
psych. Couldn't
Does
it
that
fall
make
into reverse psychology as well?
Right, exactly, and that would be an example of reverse psychology. And reverse psychology is most often a form of subliminal messaging.
I get it.
I want to bring something to the forefront. Okay, and I want to bring something to the forefront. It's back to what um, China was saying about the cartoons and what you were talking about as far as Disney was concerned. Because while y'all were, talking, I want to bring evidence now. I want to bring evidence to the table because
Right.
we can talk about it, but then once again, if we show something, it's really hard to sit here and act like this stuff is not in front of us. Now, I present to you something really recent, okay? A cartoon that is world famous, especially in the United States. It is known as Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is one of the biggest cartoons on the Disney Channel right now. It's got Mickey, it's got Minnie, got Disney, you got who's that? Donald, Goofy, Pluto. Everybody's there. Daisy, all of them is there, right? And this is supposed to be educational for our children that are, let's say, between the ages of like 6 months to as far as like 3 years old. Okay, because a lot of children watch this cartoon. Okay, there's an episode that's called uh, Mickey's Art Show. Okay, and it goes back to what Llewellyn was saying. It's going back to what China was saying, and now we're going to look at it for ourselves. Okay, because this is public. There's no copyrights here on this here screenshots. Okay, screenshots. Now I want y'all to look close at this because in this particular cartoon, everybody has to draw a photo. Okay, and let me blow that up to make sure y'all can see that. Everybody has to draw a photo of themselves. Okay, of themselves. Now, Daisy photo looks like her. I think Mickey or somebody draws a flower. But by the time we get to Goofy, Goofy's photo looks a little odd. Goofy's photo, as we look at it, as he drew a visual of himself, and anybody, y'all can go and watch this whole cartoon for yourself on YouTube. Look it up, nigga. Like the saying goes, look it up. This cartoon is up. For some strange reason, Goofy's photo came out like this. And he's the only one that had a photo that came out in black and white. Now let's analyze Goofy's photo of himself, a self-portrait of himself. Okay? First of all, his hat is in the shape of a penis. That is clear. That is clear.
True.
His nose is in the shape of a pyramid, but when you look at Goofy standing there, that does not resemble his nose at all. And then when we look at his eye, it is the all-seeing
Seeing eye. Yes, sir.
Now, why did they put this in a freaking cartoon? You know,
And right
it's
now,
Mickey Mouse.
and look, Vic, I just want to chime in and say this right here. Remember how I said that they embedded? Now notice, all the basically what they did was take Goofy's face and then they embedded the all-seeing eye within it. So it sidesteps your conscious mind, and most people would never notice that. They would never notice it because most people don't separate things into its parts to identify what they are and what they really are. You'll notice it's also a triangle on his nose.
Yes.
Right, that's what I said. Yeah, the pyramid. Yep, look.
That's something else that's actually embedded, a triangle on his nose.
Right.
And you might even notice other things that are embedded. I'm going to see if y'all notice. I'm going to be quiet and see if y'all notice other things that are embedded in that image.
Well, it looks almost like it's some type of like bird or worm, like his upper like jawline. I mean, because that's not in the shape of you know what I'm saying, like him at all. And it's something about that stream that's going from the back of his head, because I guess that's supposed to be his ear, but that's not his ear. The way they I mean, like this here is like a clear you know symbol. Well, it's a way that they hide it in plain sight.
Now look, before we move on to the next topic, I'm just going to point out one other very, very disturbing embedded
Oh
image
yeah.
within that image.
Oh well, yeah. If you're talking about his hat, yeah, we talked about
Please
that too.
observe his hat.
Yeah, look, we talked about his hat.
And it's not just his hat. His hats look like a nutsack, and his whole entire nose look like a penis.
Exactly, China Mrs. Exactly.
Right.
I was waiting on somebody to notice that embedded
Like, yeah, in your
subliminal
face.
message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a subliminal message. That is
Fuck
a
you
subliminal
in your
message.
face.
May I take a moment? I'm sorry. May I take a moment and speak on the pyramid?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
Yes,
man. It's in front of us. It's up.
The pyramid, some refer to it as the Eye of Horus. Some refer to it as the Devil's Eye. Back when the pyramids was built at night, they would actually bounce light out of them, and the pharaoh could light up the sky at night. And that's why people believed he was God, because he can make night at day. I mean, day at night. I don't really necessarily see evil when I see this symbol, because I'm kind of literate in the history of it. But we have to remember that just because a symbol starts out some way, it can be used a different way. For example, the swastika that Nazis used was a symbol of peace before it ever got to Hitler. So
Wow.
I just want the audience to know, as we go through these symbols and you hear us speak about certain things as and the content they're in, remember to do your research so you find out what they are, because a lot of things they're using in these symbols, as far as Egyptian symbols and all, never started out as an evil thing. Just wanted to say that real quick.
Right.
Right. 100%.
I did not know that.
A lot of times it's not actually, I guess, what you're saying or what you're displaying, is how you're displaying it and why you're displaying it. Which we're going to get into this a little bit more. We're going to explain subliminal messages and symbolism.
Yeah,
In a later episode, we're going to explain it in more depth.
yeah, because look, to actually to add on to what both of you are saying, is that you have to keep in mind, right? It's like, why would you take the Egyptian pyramids and then combine it with a photo of a penis and a nutsack. See, there's something there. There's definitely something there. So these symbols didn't start off the way they are. They've been highly altered through time. They definitely that's without question. But the people that are altering these symbols are basically leaving up traces of the same alteration. And this is what we're going to point out as well. You know what I'm saying? That there's an element here. Somebody's doing this on purpose. You feel what I'm saying? They're literally doing this on purpose. So we're
And
going to
it's
get
not,
into those things.
we're not trying to change anyone's mind. Just like we stated, do your own research. But I hope to make people aware of why McDonald's is doing what they do. It's to get you to eat what they're feeding you. And it's not, to me, 100% hamburger. That meat, it may be something different. This is something I just want to make people aware of. That's all. I'm not saying don't eat McDonald's.
And to add to that, I'll just say this. Remember, the main thing you need to know, the main thing you need to remember about subliminal messages is this right here. A message is any sort of information that is given. So a subliminal message is any sort of hidden information. So for instance, when it comes to food, if you have a genetically modified organism that has been hidden inside of your ketchup or hidden inside of your mayonnaise or hidden inside of um, your watermelon or whatnot, this is also a form of subliminal messaging, and that's taking it to an extreme level. But I just want you guys to understand that this is more than just words. This is more than just images. This also includes genetics. You can actually give subliminal messages via genetics, and we're going to get into all these details. We're really just trying to tease the crap out of y'all tonight so that you'll really be primed for when we go live, backed up by, the big homie Tommy. So if y'all okay with it, let's go ahead and move on to the next main area that we're going to be covering tonight. Y'all all right with that?
Before we move on, I just want to say one thing. Just want to let the audience, we will be having an episode on our food supply and Monsanto and GMOs. So that's definitely something we're going to touch on down the road.
Amen.
Yes. We're going to be covering a lot of issues, and hopefully we'll be able to tell you guys all the things that we're going to be covering. But to be honest, that'll be kind of difficult, but we're going to try to cover everything. All right, the next, the next one is Vic's topic, which is the true meaning of Vic. Had to start us off.
Oh, okay. Well, the topic that I was going to cut into was the creation of a dollar. Okay, and what is what excuse me, what is its true purpose? Okay. Now, y'all know I'm a Jesus fan, I'm all about Team Jesus. Okay. So I'm gonna start off with this one. You know what I'm saying? Jesus said, if you want to be perfect, go and sell your belongings and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come and be my follower. Now, I'm a believer in that. I'm a true believer in that. So when we analyze this thing and we say the purpose of money, see, when we look at money, right, everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. This is something that we all strive for, but this is something that we will even kill over. This is something that we will even sacrifice our own brothers and sisters over. So how good is it? You know what I'm saying? And we'll definitely, like I said, this is going to be something that you'll probably get a part 2 and part 3 on, because there's a root to the dollar that was made in our pocket. See, if we go to the root and the source of something, we can kind of get a idea on why the world is the way it is now. You see what I'm saying? So this is something that, you know what I'm saying, is going to spawn into a whole element of things. Because a lot of people don't know that the people that created the dollar in your pocket is known as the Rothschilds family. They created the American dollar. They made it. You can look that up. That is a fact. So when we analyze these people, okay, and say, okay, well, these are the people that make the money. They literally make it. They don't ever have to worry about anything. And the government somehow put these people in control of, like, they were, it's like if we were playing Monopoly and like you give somebody the bank, like, but we playing with real life here. We playing with real life. They playing Monopoly. I want y'all to really, really think about that. That has a whole lot of dangers because, you know, when we play Monopoly, and just speaking on this angle so everybody can follow me. You ever play with somebody with Monopoly and they cheat? You know what I'm saying? They literally just start cheating in Monopoly. Like, you're supposed to start off the game with $1,500, but all of a sudden this motherfucker got $5,000. He buying property right off rip and all this other type shit. This nigga sliding 20s and shit on the side and shit. You feel me? So imagine, like I said, imagine being the banker. You know what I'm saying? Literally giving the money out. Now, we already know that wars are like the biggest money maker out here, and it's almost no different than pit bull fighting. The wars in America, you know what I'm saying, are fueled behind the money, behind the dollar. And even with this same money, like I said, you have the mind control, the manipulation. They even make wars inside of America. Like, if there's not enough wars outside of America, then they'll start one on the inside of America. Nobody's really paying attention that, you know, all of this is a money trail. Even people that go into the service, and not trying to offend y'all, but a lot of y'all go into it for the money. When they show you the figures and they show you the lines, you say, hey, are you going to do this for the dollar? And look, a lot of people go. And I'm not trying to offend anybody because they pay people a lot of money. It's not talked about. It's not something in heavy circulation. But I do know for a fact that those people that go over there and risk their lives and come back, hey, it's not a lot. It's not a whole lot you can buy in a third world country. It's not. It's not a whole lot you can buy. So I can understand how people can stack up money in a third world country for a year and come back with $200,000. It's very, very possible. Very, very possible.
Right.
But they literally control you on this element of what they created. So we have to really analyze, you know what I'm saying, the purpose of when they created this. Was this really a good thing? Were they really aiming for the best interest for all the people? When they created this American dollar that we kill over, that we will basically torture, maim, beat, okay, we will extort, we will do all of these things for this dollar. We will slave, we will literally work until we die. How many people have watched their family members work, and as soon as they retire, they die? Literally, they just drop dead. In an infatuation to grab something. And when they die, this is the kicker. Most of the old folks that die, when they die, right, they might have that $50,000 policy and this, that, the other. But after they dead and gone, shit, half of that goes to the funeral. Another half goes to the bills and expenses, this, that, the other. What was your life worth? What was your life worth? I mean, seriously. So we really have to, like I said, and I'm going to start bringing up, like I said, a whole lot of content and giving y'all insight on what's going on with the American dollar, man, and what purpose it really has. I mean, look at the outrage that came out, the reaction when they were talking about putting Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. All of these things. You see what I'm saying? All of these things. Insanity. Insanity. Franklin.
And real quick, I want to link all together because I think there's a really strong connection between the term conspiracy theory, the subliminal message, and the meaning of the dollar bill. Why? Okay. Why is it a conspiracy theory? Because A small group of people came together and created the dollar, and a small group of people come together and distribute the dollars to a large group of people.
To the
And a
world.
small
To
group
the
of
world.
people, a small group of people own most of the money or have most of the money. I think 1% of the world's population contains how much of the wealth? Like over like 80% of the wealth or something like this.
The
Right.
top,
And so this suggests a conspiracy. Go ahead, it is.
no, I just wanted to give you the figure. The top 1 to 10% is richer than half of the world, so that's about 3.6 billion people.
Okay. So that's the figure right there. So right there, we're already looking at what could basically be called a conspiracy. And then subliminal messages. When you actually look at the money, you see an owl hiding down there, embedded in there. You see a skull. You see a dead man. You see all types of spiders and stuff embedded into the money. Like again, what we said, subliminal messages are things that are hidden inside of something. Like, for instance, a pyramid em, embedded or hidden on the money, or placed there in an inconspicuous way, or the fact that there's 13 uh, leaves, 13 arrows. In a way, that's kind of like an innocent one, because they're trying to kind of suggest, the 13 original colonies, but maybe they're suggesting something else, because the number 13 has a certain significance. We're not gonna
Okay.
get into we're not gonna get into all that right now, but I'm just letting you know we're gonna be covering a lot of stuff. We're gonna deal with the numerology of things, and how you might have embedded subliminal messages in the numbers and whatnot. But yeah. What were you saying now?
And just to like do a quick uh, backup to what Llewellyn was talking about, especially with the you know what I'm saying, the owl on the $1 bill, and the things that are seen. The owl is the representation of the Moloch owl, and this really has reference to the only thing that I've seen that would come from the Babylonian times. The people that worshipped Moloch, you know what I'm saying, the people that were, even the people that were spoken about in the Old Testament, because you would see things that would come up and it would say, well, do not, give your children as sacrifices to Moloch. And from the biblical time standpoint, people would basically take newborn babies and they would have a statue of Moloch, and they would build a fire at the bottom of the statue, and they would drop the newborns into the mouth of Moloch,
Mm.
and then they would play music and flutes to basically cover up the screams of the children being burned alive inside of Moloch. Now, this was a form of worship that was to give them wealth and power and glory. And you see this worship even now. Planned Parenthood was a form of this worship. The thing was, when you had a system where they were telling you where abortions were $315, and then all of a sudden they told you, well, if you have a food stamp card, or if you got a Medicaid card, you can get an abortion for free. You can get a
Yep.
free abortion. So nobody really paid attention to that on that sacrifice label. But then they were telling you, well, we're going to take all of these embryos and dead babies, and we're going to do stem cell research. And then
Right.
look, they put it on the polls. They did. They put it on the polls and said, yeah, stem cell research. They didn't tell you what it was about. They just said it. And this is how they get you to participate in something subliminally. You know what I'm saying? Like on that low key level. Because when they put up the when they put up the stem cell ballot on the vote, they were showing commercials of Marines, right, where they told you, they said, hey, we took a stem cell and we grew a ear. I don't know if y'all remember those stories. They
I
were
do.
telling
I
people,
remember.
yeah, they said, look, we grew an arm. We just grew a knee for this Marine that got his knee blew off in Iraq, and now he can walk again. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what they were promoting behind the stem cell research.
In a sense, it made women feel just a little bit better about doing it. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, they made you feel like, oh, okay, well, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
And
at least
you know,
something good's gonna come out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
now I'm gonna tell you the same thing they had up on the ballot at the exact same time to seal the deal. You know what they said? Are y'all ready? Cause y'all remember this when I say
And
it, it's
see,
gonna
real,
just blow your mind. Okay, at the same time on the ballot they said, hey, America, if you back us on the stem cell research, we're gonna legalize marijuana. And damn it, look, you went and clicked both. They went and clicked
and
both.
again, this is where I want to highlight. I want to highlight how subliminal messages exist in more than just pictures and words and whatnot, but it exists in even in something as what we generally see as beneficial or benevolent or benign rather with the idea of abortions. Um, People have begun to, people accept abortions. Abortions are like something that we most people are like, wow, I'm glad we can actually abort babies. But when you really look at the fact of the matter is, it's an embedded ritual. It's
Right.
actually an embedded sacrifice
Yes.
to an embedded God. It's a hidden sacrifice to a hidden God.
Yep.
Do y'all see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And look, and now I really want to bring back up the Oscars because I know I mentioned the god Ptah and I didn't tell you who he was. Let me tell you who he actually is. Ptah um, is related to the god known as Amun-Ra, which
Oh,
which means the hidden one.
right.
So he is actually the god of subliminal messages.
Shut up. Wow.
Amun Ra. And you notice that and I'm not trying to really spook out the Christians because I feel for the Christians. I relate to the Christians, but even the word Amun or Amen, I'm embedded into the Christian way of praying.
Right.
We have a subliminal message. We have a subliminal message in the religion. We have a subliminal message in what we would consider to be the last place where we would be worshiping a pagan god. We have a hidden pagan god inside of the place where we say you cannot have any other gods.
Right.
You
Right.
see, this is
Exactly.
we're gonna get more into this, but this is how intricate things are embedded and how intricate the subliminal messages actually get.
It's actually
And it,
genius.
and it is a form of genius, but I would call it mad genius or evil genius.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when we're dealing with the Oscars, think about it. Why would a person who was in a movie get the statue of the god of the hidden power? Well, because movies contain the hidden embedded subliminal suggestions. That's the main place where you can get your daily dose of hidden embedded subliminal messages. So therefore we award an Oscar
Right.
to those who produce the highest level of the hidden embedded subliminal messages, if that makes any sense.
Right. May I
Yeah.
say this real quick?
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't want to get too deep in it, but even the word Hollywood, if you break that down, witches used to use the Hollywood tree for their magic wands. If you notice in movies, they give you a peek sometimes into the future. Like if you notice any movie that's about the future, what happens? Either a system, a religion, or some secret faction takes over. If you decide that you don't want to live inside this place where they're in control, you're outcasted where you have to survive on your own. Normally, these people are put into major cities and overpopulated for easier control. it's just a few things you can look inside movies and take a look and kind of peek into the future a little bit, if you could say it, if I want to say it like that. But
And
Exactly. And look, I do have a hidden piece of, and now I sound like I'm doing subliminals. I'm not though. But I have a piece of information I'm gonna reserve for a later show, so I'm gonna make y'all have to tune back in. But basically, um, we're gonna put it like this: Hollywood has so many embedded and subliminal messages in it. The whole place is an embedded and subliminal message in and of itself, and it does link back to money. It does link right back to money, because whoever has the highest ability to create these subliminal messages will be the one who's going to be having the most money. And if you know, if you understand anything about the movie industry, you know that it's flooded with money. There's so much money in the movie. There's so much money invested in creating fantasies that it makes reality look like it's not even important.
Exactly.
and hey, I gotta cut into this a little bit because I think I'm gonna, eventually get into this element. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's a touchy element, and for me, like I believe that some of these people, you know what I'm saying, have gotten in contact with the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? And I'll bring examples of that to the table. You know what I'm saying? Just from you know what I'm saying, my just from my standpoint as a Christian, you know what I'm saying? Because like me, I'm a person that believes that there's evil in the world. I believe that evil has a traceable source, and that evil has basically shown its face on all seven continents of the world
right,
in
And
some way,
right,
shape,
and
or
the
form.
places.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In
Right,
some
and
way, shape,
I want to suggest that I
every
want to
single
suggest that
time.
the countries that seem the most peaceful are the ones who have the most subliminal evil, or what you could call subliminal warfare.
right,
Yes.
Now, if you guys know anything about the Cold War was all about subliminal warfare.
right,
The Cold War. It wasn't a war in the traditional sense. It was a war that was all based upon hidden, subliminal, subversive, invisible battling and war and fighting, which is really what's going on here in America between a lot of factions here. But we're gonna save this for a later episode. We're just really trying to give y'all a good teaser. Let's
And
go ahead
something
and if it's all right, go ahead,
something else
China.
I do want to touch on. I mean, I know this might be far fetched for probably the majority of our audience. Uh, I believe I'm going to touch on what Victor was saying pertaining to evil. CERN, the particle collider. And I know that it's really far fetched, but I believe with my research that I have truly been just overwhelmed with, it has a lot to do with the evil in the world today. And like I said, it's a whole different subject, but for
Yeah.
anybody that wants to, just go ahead and Google CERN and just get a feel of it, because it has everything to do with the evil
Yeah,
in the world.
we're gonna definitely address that too in future episodes, and we actually might address it a little bit more. But if it's all right with everybody, let's go ahead and go to the next major area of conspiracy theories. Is that all right with everyone?
Yep.
Let's rock, man.
All right. The next one was actually a topic that I suggested, and so I'll start off. It's basically grammar. Now, grammar is a very controversial subject. Many people hate me on the internet. I'm not necessarily the king of trolls like my brother Vic is here, but um, I have been known to be a grammar Nazi, or a person who is kind of like a troll when it comes to, you know, people purpose purposely not using proper grammar. And so what I want to suggest is that the main way that you're able to protect yourself against subliminal messages in the form of words, and words being the basis of all of these things that we've discussed here, the main way to protect yourself against it is to understand the rules of grammar. When you understand the rules of grammar, it's harder for people to bypass and sidestep your subconscious mind. For instance, when I use the word bi, I could mean bisexual, or I could mean buy. I could mean I'll stop by your house, or I could mean I'm going to buy this food. The way subliminal messages work, they just use the sound because it knows that your subconscious is not going to differentiate from it. The only thing, the conscious mind will differentiate from it. And the only way you can truly be conscious of a thing is to fully understand it. So like for instance, when people make the common grammatical error of there, when they spell there improperly. Now I know some people just don't know. They don't know what they're doing, and so it's not really, they're not really to blame. But there are trained trolls, or what we might call shills, who come in and they know exactly what they're doing, and they will purposefully say Their instead of Their. They can sidestep your conscious mind and get you to acknowledge a sort of ownership or possession. Now, you may not quite get what I mean, and so I'm just going to drop this real quick, and then I'm going to ask the other members to see what they view grammar as, but I'm going to drop this real quick. The parts of speech really are all you need to know to have your basic protection package against I guess you call subliminal trolling when it comes to language. If you know what part of speech you're dealing with, for the most part, you can be safe. And when someone purposefully uses the wrong part of speech against you, you know that they're trying to bypass and sidestep your conscious mind. And when they do that, they're able to command you subliminally. So I'm just going to list the names real. Matter of fact, I'm not going to even list the names. I'm just going to say this right here. Grammar itself is a word that you could say is subliminal because its origin, and I'll say it's this science called etymology. And etymology is the science of the origin of words, but really what it is more so the well, I guess according to this particular panel that we're dealing with here, this conspiracy theory, really you could say that grammar or etymology is actually the study of subliminal messages in words. Why? Because when we're dealing with the origin of a word, that's the true meaning of it. But it's made subliminal when we conceal or hide the true meaning of it. And so the word grammar, I'm going to go ahead and give you the simple etymology on grammar. The etymology on grammar is grimoire or grimoire, which is a French word which stands for a collection of magic. And so by you being well versed in grammar, you're actually becoming well versed in magic. Now, what's the point of being well versed in magic, even if you're not a wizard or witch or any type of magician like that? The point of being well versed in magic is so that you can be protected against those who use it. This is why it's very important to at least master and understand the rules of grammar, even if you don't really personally want to follow them. But I'll say this: when you purposely choose to not use it, you're actually only contributing to the further hypnotic control of your own people. And unfortunately, and I'm glad this is an offshoot of Thomas Sotomayor, but unfortunately, black folk tend to just not give a damn about the language that they speak, and they don't even realize that they have been hypnotically suggested and subliminally controlled into using words improperly, because that is how you keep people under control and doing everything that they don't even want to do, because they're not even acknowledging the words for what they are, which is ultimately magic. But anyhow, that's my opinion, and I'm gonna go ahead and that's pretty much supported. But I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to the rest of the panel members to tell how they feel about grammar. Go ahead.
Hey, and Llewellyn, you know what I'm saying? You remind me of a time when I was in school. You know, when I was in school, everybody had to learn how to write in cursive. You know what I'm saying? That was like mandatory. You had to
And look, the
learn how to
word
write in
cursive
cursive.
too. The word cursive. Just vibe with
Like
me on
yeah,
that. Cursive.
yeah, right.
Curse
Now
is
you basically had to like write out essays, letters, all that stuff, right? And you would fail classes if you didn't know how to write in cursive. And then I watched how they just like deleted that whole system out. Like they said, well, you know what? We don't even need that anymore. They just, threw it away.
Hey Vic, may
So,
I explain?
oh yeah. And what I was going to say another thing they did. You know what another thing they did was they started bringing in computers into the
Mm-hmm.
schools.
Mm-hmm.
So when they brought the computers into the schools, then it became okay for your child to use a calculator.
Yep.
Right.
And after that, then it was all right because you want to buy your kid a cell phone, right? So when they take their cell phone to school and we talk about grammar, hell, the phone to spell it out for them. So if they
Right.
have
Yep.
to write it, if they have to write it, they're not going to remember
right.
it. But if they have to
Right.
type it on the phone, everything will come out okay because they could,
Absolutely.
Right.
you
Right.
know,
It's stripping them of their magic. It's stripping them of their power. It's stripping them of their protection.
Yep.
And basically, without their phone, they're lost. They're dead. They're gone.
oh man,
They're basically zombies.
yeah,
Without their phone, they're like a zombie because they don't have any true, um, they don't have any magical power or any magical protection. And I just want to say something real quick, and then I know Yiz got something to say. But cursive, the reason why cursive is so important, and if you notice, all historical documents such as like the Declaration of Independence and all that, they were all written in cursive. But the reason why cursive is so important is because it actually gives you the power to curse people in a protective sort of way. Like for instance, if you are um, attempting to get free from a certain crime, or defend yourself when you are actually innocent, if you actually write a letter in the perfect script of cursive, what you're doing is actually, and I know this sounds kind of crazy, and I'm still sympathizing with my Christians and all that. I'm still basically down with the Christians and whatnot. But what you're doing is casting a spell that actually rebukes and refutes whatever someone else was trying to bring against you. Now, y'all might think I'm being real far-fetched with that, but I'm trying to tell you, the power of cursive is very slept on because it actually is a weapon in itself. It's the ability to curse out someone in a very formal manner without using curse words
right.
to stop them from doing what you're saying. And but we have corrupted what it is, and we think that just when we say fuck, shit, damn, and all that, excuse my French, we think that that is a curse when that's really not even the true curse. The true curse is being able to write perfect English in cursive, and it will bind and bound. If you know anything about bonds and anything like that that deals with the law, and you realize that what it does, it binds and bounds people to do certain things. It's a contract. That's why you got to sign your name. People sign their names in what?
Right,
Cursive. And when you
right,
sign your name in print, when you sign your name in print, and they suggest that you print name here, but if you do it in cursive, you actually have protected yourself. But if
Right.
you actually write it in print, that's when you're actually setting yourself up to get ate the hell up. And you think that, and just like Vic was saying earlier, these people know that the spiritual world is real. They're trying to convince everybody that it's not real so that they can continue to dominate.
Yep.
And so look, I'm gonna leave it right there. We gonna like again, like I said, when we carry on and do our further episodes, we're gonna get further and deep. We're gonna go further down the rabbit hole. We're just trying to make sure y'all are teased very well so that you know that this channel right here is so serious. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna empower you so much
I
that you're
hope
gonna
so.
actually want to give your whole check to us. But we ain't gonna let you we ain't gonna let you do that. But you gonna be thankful that you tuned in to Soto Nation's Conspiracy Files. What you got to say, Israel?
Well, I just wanted to touch on what you were saying about cursive and the reason they stopped teaching it. If you can't write cursive, you can't read it. So all historical documents go out of the window.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once they have a generation or two that can't read cursive, we can change the Constitution. We can change the Bill of Rights. We can change, hell, the Magna Carta. You know, that's just all I wanted to add.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You stop all the college kids, you stop all the high school kids, you can hand them a letter in cursive. I challenge anybody that has children that's over the age of 35, write a letter in cursive and hand it to your child to see if they can read it.
And the saddest thing, when I was in school, they made it mandatory, and they gave us good reasons. It makes you go fast on a test, you know, your penmanship and all these things. And now they're taking away from the kids. Like, I teach my kids cursive. I'm actually homeschooling my boys, and you know, I think it's very important. Like I said, if you can't read it, then think about it. Now they'll start putting contracts and some more. Your deed to your house will be in cursive, and you won't even know what it means.
Right.
That's just my little. Yeah.
And look, and what's really interesting is this right here. It's basically like this. Okay. Cursive. When you actually write something in cursive, what you're really doing is, again, I'm just reiterating, what you're really doing is protecting yourself. Just imagine you're dealing with wicked beings. The only way you can stop them is to basically hit them with a taste of their own medicine. If you don't hit them with a taste of their own medicine, they're gonna keep tearing your ass up. You got to learn how to write cursive. One of the reasons I think that they stopped teaching cursive. Wait a minute. I think. Well, China, didn't you have something to say?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm listening.
Well, look. Just first of all, before I continue, tell me what you think about cursive.
Who, me?
Yes.
I think it should still be taught for the exact reason Yes touched on. Because I mean, I was sitting here thinking, and Victor's question, where if you're over 35, hand your kids some cursive, and you guys are absolutely right. But I was not aware of that, so I think we need to make people aware of it, because it just makes so much sense to me. Again, I learned something. I've never paid attention to cursive.
Doesn't it feel like cursive is writing and print is drawing letters?
Elaborate on that.
When you write cursive, your pen really doesn't have to leave the paper, but every time you move on to a new word, when you're printing, every line you pull, you change the direction of the pencil, why it's so slow in comparison to cursive.
Yeah, that's how I taught my kids to write cursive, was to, if you pick up your pen, you've broken that line.
Okay. Now look, real quick, I'm gonna just finish what I was saying. I just had a feeling in my spirit to just make sure China got to chime in, and I'm glad she did, because basically, okay, look, you guys may think that this is funny, you may think that this is a joke, you may think that this is bullshit or whatever you want to call it, but there's an old saying, and it goes like this: the pen is mightier than the sword.
Right.
Now, many people, don't necessarily believe this. I mean, they think it's some kind of metaphor, some kind of euphemism or whatever. They don't really believe this, because if they believed it, they would teach penmanship to their people and to themselves. They would master the art of penmanship. Right? Because if you have it, you actually have a weapon that is more powerful than a sword. Now imagine if you had a big old sword. You could do a whole lot of damage with a big old sword. A big old sword could really do more damage than a gun, really. Why? Because you don't even need to reload the bullets. You can just keep on cutting. Everybody might be out of bullets as long as you survive, gunfire. Once the bullets are gone, the man with the sword is king.
Right.
The man with the sword is king. So a sword is actually more lethal than a bullet, really, when you think about it. Because, I mean, just come on. Why you think these shinobis and all these ninjas and whatnot, they don't use guns? They use swords. Because a sword is actually a very powerful weapon, but a pen is even more powerful than that. And if
Right.
you look at and I hate to bring up anime because some people think that anime is all bullshit and it's just kind of like fantasy, but they hide a lot of, again, subliminal truth in there. But in this instance, I think there's a lot of subliminal truth and good stuff in animes. But basically, you'll notice when they are casting a spell or doing some type of shinobi art, what they'll do is they will write something down on a little piece of paper and then throw that mug. And next thing you know, that shit'll blow up and kill every goddamn thing.
Right.
This is the power of penmanship. Y'all got to pick up on these messages. But go ahead. I think Yiz was about to say something.
No, I was just gonna say something that supports what you're just saying. Yes, the pen is more mighty than the sword because in war, historically, if we look, before they drop bombs, they drop printed propaganda. Before they bomb a nation, they turn the nation against its people with printed propaganda. They always drop propaganda before they drop bombs. So words, penmanship has more control. One man can sign something nowadays that could kill millions, where the sword is only as powerful as the person that holds it.
That was
Very,
deep.
very, very profound. We gonna further flesh this out for the people who tune in. I know it's gonna be way more people who tune in the future because this is a test run. We didn't even promote this. The people who have joined us now, man, y'all are actually some of the chosen few. Y'all are the blessed ones. Y'all are early birds. Y'all gonna get the worm because this is gonna blow up really big. And y'all just don't even know it right now. So it's on. Right now, it's 13 viewers in the room.
Yeah, it was up to 16
Powerful
at one
number,
point.
right? That's a serious number. 13 now. But yeah. So anyhow, we have yes. So yeah, grammar, the conspiracy of grammar. Okay, so I think it's kind of if no one else has anything to say for right now, that's not going to spoil the future shows. I think it's time for us to go ahead and into our second half.
Right,
Y'all
no
ready to go
doubt.
to the second half, which is okay. The second half is where we're basically going to, and forgive me, y'all. I haven't eaten anything today. I'm not really on my A1 games, but I'm still here because I'm dedicated to this, and I'm showing y'all, the value of discipline and whatnot. But here we go. And yeah, if you want to make sure I eat, please. Well, I was gonna say click the donation button, but we didn't
Yes.
bring one today. But in the future, come ready to make some donations if you really want us to bring more great content. Because to tell the truth, we're trying to take this thing here all the way to the Smithsonian. We're trying to take this all the way to the Great British Museum of History. We're trying to take this all the way to Egypt. We're trying to take this to Stonehenge. We're
I
trying
love
to take
my
it to
team.
the actual sites so we can get some real, true, good evidence to provide to you, our viewers, who we really appreciate a lot and who we want to be empowered and who we really want to know. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It's no pressure. You don't have to donate. You don't have to donate.
Can I say this real quick?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Once again, just want to apologize to the audience. A lot of people are inboxing me on Facebook or texting me and all, and they have so much to add. We will have a chat the next show. We ran into a little technical difficulty this time. We value your opinions, and you will be able to interact with us for further shows. Just want to let the audience know that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We know that there's a silent giant in the room, and we're definitely gonna acknowledge y'all because a lot of you I know you got some good stuff. We missing out on a lot of good stuff, but remember, this is episode 0. This is just kind of a teaser to get your appetite wet. So, okay, we're gonna move on to the second half, and the second half is going to be basically, well, we're just going to not necessarily have any type of structure. We're just going to ramble on one particular topic, and the topic for this particular show is going to be dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, we're gonna have good music in the future too, but it's gonna be dun 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 dun.
Uh,
The Illuminati, the Illuminati,
Oh, wow.
Illuminati. So
yeah,
yeah,
we're definitely and be prepared. Like I said, we're gonna have the blog talk radio up and running too. That'll probably like I said, just be on the lookout for the dates so that way when we have the BTR shows going, y'all will be able to call in. You'll be able to use Skype. You can do all of those things and interact with all of us at the same time. So be on the lookout.
yep. So
Be on the
I'm gonna crank up
lookout.
the rambling on the Illuminati by just dropping the definition. It's basically like this, and I think I touched on this on the dig a little bit, but then my homie, he's my homie now, but my homie Zion was kept cutting me off. Shout out to Zion, Soto Nation. You know what I'm saying? We deep. Sometimes we have our little discrepancies. Um, but okay. So the Illuminati is it's an Italian word that means enlightened, the enlightened ones, enlightened. That's, that's all it really means, enlightened. So in a certain way, we have another subliminal message. Well, actually, we have a conspiracy with the word Illuminati because ultimately, the word in and of itself is positive and innocent. Who doesn't want to be enlightened? Enlightenment means you're now more intelligent. But they've corrupted the word just like they corrupt, and by they I mean the conspirators. They have corrupted the meaning of the word just like they corrupted the meaning of so many other things. They corrupted the meaning of the swastika. They corrupted the meaning of um, what it means to be black. They've corrupted the meaning of the word. They corrupted the meaning of writing. They corrupted the meaning of so many things. But it's up, and that's part of what we're trying to bring to the world right now. Is we're trying to bring back the truth and break the corruption and let you guys know what it really is and what it really means. We're trying to give you the etymology. We're trying to crack the conspiracy. But ultimately, the Illuminati is supposed to be us. We're supposed to be the enlightened ones.
Right.
But they have made it so that if you say that you are the Illuminati, everybody gets scared. That's almost like some sort of an insult now. It's a derogatory term. It's to try to. It's another way of saying that you're like a coon, but you're a high level coon. He's
Right.
an Illuminati.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to screen share, if I can, this book that everyone should read, if I can do it correctly. If it doesn't work, I'll just give you the title.
Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good. You had it up there. It was looking real good.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Someone go ahead and talk, and when I get it up, I'll just ask the speaker. Give me 1 second.
Hey Vic, man, tell us what you know about the Illuminati, Vic.
Well, I started reading up on it in 2008, and the whole, Jay-Z, Beyonce, the story started coming out. And as I started going into research, I saw that it wasn't really the musicians, it was the politicians, it was the people that were in political office. You had people that were affiliated, you know what I'm saying, like Ronald Reagan. You had presidents that were affiliated into these organizations. Alex Jones did a heavy expose on that, and what it raised, what the question. Okay, I shouldn't even say the question, but the issue that came up was the element of the Christians with the existence of the Illuminati.
Right.
Because it's like when the Illuminati came up, the Christians were the ones saying, ha ha, I told y'all so. You feel what I'm saying? Because according to the Bible, Satan, if you worship him, he will give you the kingdoms of the world. You will be one of the most powerful people on the planet. You feel what I'm saying? And when you saw this like manifesting, where you had these people that were basically the richest people, the elite, and they were involved in all types of, homosexuality. They were involved in child molestation. They were involved in cannibalism, murder, torture, all of these evil, twisted things that they were involved in, but somehow they were benefiting from it. They were benefiting at a level that no one on like this side of the world, like on our level of living, we couldn't benefit like that. We couldn't, get into those doors like that. You see what I'm saying? So it raised the question. It put on the level. Okay, now, okay, is the devil real? Is this? You know what I'm saying? Is some of these things tied in to as whereas some of these people that have gotten out, or some of these people that have basically snitched and died because they told something, they gave out a little information. You feel what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, it raised a question about when it comes to the element of worship and rituals and what type of spirit you do bring on. I mean, I don't know how many times you've heard megastars, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, they say when they go on to the stage, they basically they transform. They feel like they turn into another person. Um, Michael Jackson, when he would take his arms and extend out and have his head back with his, you know what I'm saying, with his arms extended out, like that was, you know what I'm saying, an element of, you know what I'm saying, worshiping this entity, this spirit. And for those people that have contacted the evil spirits, okay, and when we go to references, okay, well, this person contacted an evil spirit. What did they get out of it? What can we see in front of us? What can we put on the table to see that this entity gave this individual this position in life? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
If I
even
could,
when you look at, oh yeah, because when you look at Michael Jackson's history, he was 5 years old when he signed his record deal. But wait a minute, did y'all hear what I said? He was 5 years old when he signed his record deal.
right,
So how the fuck does a 5-year-old sign a record deal? Nobody ever thought about it like that.
right.
Nobody ever thought about it. A 5-year-old signing a record deal? Hmm. Hmm.
Just to give my 2 cents on the whole thing. Wait a minute, I got my screen share working now, I believe. Give me 1 second. That book right there, it's by a guy named Fitz Springmeyer. It's called The Bloodlines of the Illuminati, which are 13 bloodlines, which explains why the number 13 is so important to these people. What I like to say, in a few years, this has become very popular, but a lot of people are miseducated through YouTube videos and such. They're running around and saying Beyonce, Jay-Z, these people are Illuminati. Well, these people don't possess the bloodline to even be Illuminati. It's a difference in being in a controlled Illuminati media form, and then to actually be a bloodline, which, just to ramble off a few other Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts. So if people would reach out into that book, that's probably one of the best explanations I've got. A guy by the name of Professor Griff actually speaks on his book, because it's one of the best books without the embellishment or trying to make it sensationalized. It just breaks it down from the beginning with historical facts. It's wrote off as conspiracy theory, but if you do your research after reading the book, the pieces definitely fit. So that's a little bit of solo reading for everybody out there. If you want to learn about the Illuminati, stay away from YouTube and other things.
Hey.
Picking your favorite artists, or these people are peasants compared to the people we're talking about. Earlier, Nick mentioned the Rothschilds. If you Google the Rothschilds network, they'll tell you they're worth 300 mil. In all reality, they're worth over 100 trillion. So these are the things we have to talk about. And on this channel, this is what we're going to do. We're going to separate the fake conspiracy that's put out by the elite from the truth. Because you got to remember that some conspiracy theories are just put out there to confuse you from the truth.
Exactly. That's a really good point. I think they call it a red herring. You throw a distraction out there that's convincing, and just to throw people off from the scent of the truth. And this is the thing that I was telling you, that I was mentioning the other night about half truths. And what I mean by that is that, in order sometimes to convince people, you have to tell them something that seems like it might be true, but a lot of times what these sort of spin doctors do is they tell you something that's true, but it's only partially true. But the part they told you true was the thing that got you to accept it in the first place. But then the thing that they tell you afterwards is actually false, which makes the whole thing that they told you false. But there's still value in the half truth, because with the half truth, you still do have half of the truth. You just have to use your discernment to chop off the false part and then seek the other true part. And this is ultimately my argument on why the Bible and other books like that are still valuable, because they contain a lot of half truths. You just have to use your skills to find the missing half. And that's why I also encourage people to not fear other books besides the Bible, because the other half of the truth typically is found in the other books.
Right, bro. And look, that's what was scary. That's what was spooky. Because look, when I look for a common ground, okay, because that's what I had to do. I mean, I researched Hinduism, I researched like Buddhism, I researched, of course, Christianity. You know what I'm saying? The Quran, even the people that study as far as like the Book of the Dead and things like that. Okay. And when I sat all these books down and I found a common ground, they all spoke of some form of evil. You feel what I'm saying? They all spoke of something that was an intelligent being, but it was like intelligent, but just totally against man altogether. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just despising man, but it was an evil that was older than man itself. You feel what I'm saying? And the spooky part, like I said, and just to throw out like small references, not a whole lot, but traces of this evil on earth, selecting factions on earth, and these factions flourishing. You see what I'm saying? And like you said, you might have to do a little discernment for yourself to see those angles. Now, everybody's heard that various story in the Bible about Job and how God let Satan attack Job and kill his family and all this other type stuff. But when I looked into the story itself, it was a whole lot deeper than what a lot of people missed over.
Right.
There was a part in Job, okay, that said that that Satan had called upon 3 tribes of people to attack Job. I believe 2 of those was the Sabians and the Chaldeans. So these people on the ground were declaring already that they were followers of Satan. Nowhere in the Bible did these people, get destroyed by, like, God didn't kill these people. And when you fast forward, by this time, Satan is telling people, well, he has control of the kingdoms of the world. Now, in the Bible, Jesus died, right? After Jesus died, the Catholic Church was established, and somehow the Jewish people became the richest people in the world. The last individual in the Bible that was like allegedly like to have godlike powers was Paul, and they chopped his head off. So on this aspect, you know what I'm saying? On this aspect of control, it was like once the power came into alignment, because in Revelation it talked about the dragon giving his authority to the wild beast on the ground. That this dragon gave his authority to the wild beast, and then you see this element of forms of birds and dragons in every aspect of worship. Every type of animal was being like represented as some form of God. I remember in the Book of the Dead, or I believe, I'm sorry, I could be in the wrong book, but the Book of Enoch, I believe it was. But in one of those books, I believe it was the Book of Enoch. Enoch said that he saw the angels fall like stars from the sky into the animals. Okay? This is what the Book of Enoch says.
Yeah, that was the Book of
Now,
Enoch. That was the Book
okay,
of Enoch.
okay, that was in the Book of Enoch. Now, the thing is, in the Bible, okay, Eve is talking to a serpent. So
Amen.
on those elements, it's like, okay, if the angels were real, and in the Book of Enoch, he said, hey, I saw this shit. I saw these motherfuckers fall. You know what I'm saying? This is what he's recording. I saw this shit happen. Like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can imagine somebody saying that they had to record it or something in any way, shape, or form, because it's happening. So in the Bible, it tells a story about the animals, okay, communicating with Adam and Eve. And then at one point, God all of a sudden stopped that shit. You see what I'm saying? But it was at some point in our culture that some of these people had already made contact with these animals. If any type of spirit being had went into those animals, and the elders of that time saw this, I mean, these animals were teaching these human beings how to do things, how to build stuff, giving them the information. I say it all the time. If you take a child and you don't teach them how to read and write, they will never learn on their own. There is no level of evolution there whatsoever. If you do not teach a child how to speak properly, they will never learn how to do it on their own. There is nothing a human being can do on their own. You can't just take a child and sit them there and they just automatically learn how to use the bathroom. They will piss and shit on themselves. So there's some element of a spirit that had to guide us on some level of playing field. And the stories are very expanded all over the world. There are recorded documents of spirit creatures. They might call them by a different name in a different country, but they're describing the same thing. Like
Right.
the Egyptians.
We're gonna get
Oh,
into
okay.
those terms. We're gonna get into those the different terms and all the names. So y'all aren't gonna be shortchanged. We're gonna give y'all the names of these beings. We're gonna tell you about all the different angels, about all the different devils,
Well,
about all the different demons, about all the
I
different
want to add this, and I want to add this, Llewellyn. If you notice, when the Egyptians saw these beings, right, they referred to them as gods, okay? But when the Aztecs saw these beings, they referred to them as aliens. Do you follow what I'm saying? Both cultures identify these gods as, or superhuman or supernatural creatures as being intelligent. You feel what I'm saying? Both cultures identify and say that these creatures that came gave us wisdom, not knowledge, because there's a difference. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. So if you don't know, you
And
need to
look,
look
real
that
quick.
up. Gave them
And look, real quick.
wisdom.
I
So
think
yeah.
I think on a real quick note, I want to just go ahead and tell them instead of them having to look it up, because this could be a difficult look up if you're not careful. So I'm gonna tell them and then look it up to confirm what I'm saying. Knowledge is information gained through your own personal experience and observation that's tested or whatnot, by self, basically. Like you gain knowledge when you do science experiments. Wisdom is something that was passed down to you by an elder or by someone. It was passed down to you basically by someone who's older than you, and it's basically it's basically just like knowledge, but it saves you from having to do an experiment or having to do a test. So in a way, wisdom is far more valuable than knowledge, because you don't
Absolutely.
like for instance, the wisdom of not putting your hand into the fire saves you from having to be burned.
Right.
Other than that, the only way you can gain the knowledge of not putting your hands in the fire, you're gonna end up with scars. So
Absolutely.
wisdom keeps you from getting scars, people.
Hey, and look, wisdom is not something that you gain through evolution. It is taught. Like you said, it is
Right.
not something. It is not something that you're just gonna like wake up and you think you like all of a sudden you like the X-Men and shit. Like you just come back like Apocalypse. Like you know everything. Like
Hey, look,
no.
hey, look. Yeah, yeah, it's real quick. On that particular note, I want to let everyone on the panel say a final piece, and then we're gonna go ahead and conclude this episode number 0.
That's what's
Um,
up.
and we're gonna let y'all know at a later time. In fact, Tommy is gonna be announcing when we're gonna have our first official show, and we actually might have a 0.1. But our first official show is going to be announced by Tommy. Um, but real quick, I think that we teased them really well. I think we got people excited. Um, but I also don't want to give them too much for right now, because we got a lot more to go. So real quick, everybody say a final little thing, and we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
All right. Just want to say peace to the Soto Nation. Shout out to Tommy. Make sure you donate to Father This America. Make sure you're following all the Soto Nation pages, Soto Sports, Soto Gaming. We're one big family. I would also say never take anybody's truth at face value. If it's the truth, it can withstand the test of investigation. Do your own research. Stand rooted in what you believe, and never let anybody make you ashamed of your truth. Um, so I wish you all peace and harmony and good spirit and good luck. Um, that's it. Thank you for coming to the show. It will get better. Maybe we will have the chat next time.
Right. How about you, China Mrs.?
I also want to start off by saying thank you, Tommy, for this opportunity for all of us to express how we feel and also expand our horizons and start to believe the unbelievable. Thank everybody who did view in. Our chat room will be open next time. And again, subscribe to all of Tommy's channels. And also, I just want to say, I love you guys. No, I'm playing. I love everyone. And also to the panel, thank you guys for at least, I know I'm not a high scale with knowledge as you guys are, but I'm hoping that y'all keep me around and allow me to participate and learn more, because my brain's like a sponge. I just want to learn more, and I want to change lives as well as you do. And Vic, I don't know you that well, but I have a lot of respect for you now. I really do. I learned a whole lot about you just in this small session, and I look forward to doing that with each and every one of you. And I say trust no one, and question everything. That's all I have to say.
All right, and Vic, do you want to go last? Or you want me to go before you?
Well, yeah, you can go ahead. And I guess I can wrap it up at the end.
All right, man. Well, everybody, I just want to say thank you for tuning in on this pilot episode, this test episode here on my measly little channel. When we finally go all the way, we're gonna have it on a major, huge channel, and we're gonna have way more coverage. So the chat room is gonna be so lively that y'all ain't gonna even know what to do. I know we didn't have one this time. We probably didn't have too many trolls to deal with, but it might have been a good thing that it wasn't on right now. If we do a 0.1, we will have the chat as well. So we actually might do another one, because there were several people who wanted to contribute and chime in, and we do want to get a lot of your ideas so we can provide content to you according to what you need or what you're seeking right now. So again, I thank you for tuning in. big shout out to the big homie TJ Sotomayor, you know what I'm saying? The #1 undisputed champion of YouTube, you know what I mean? Supporting this and backing this thing up. And I just want to say, you know what? I'm gonna be a real hardcore man. I'm gonna be like, look, I love everybody on this panel, man. I love everybody.
Uh,
I love everybody on this panel. And I love Tommy, and I love all these people, all these viewers, man. I love all y'all. I love all y'all, even y'all who hate me. I love y'all. Straight up. That's a subliminal message. That's a subliminal message.
Ooh.
all right, I guess I'm up last. Okay. Well, yeah, I want to give a shout out to the panel. I want to give a shout out to Tommy, Soto Nation, the Soto fans, everybody out there. I want to give a special notice to Tommy. Tommy, unblock me, nigga. Unblock me. We working together. We working together. Damn it, unblock me. The fuck. All right. Gotta get this shit together, man. All right. You see this logo? It's basic because you gotta unblock me. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I have nothing but love for everybody. And like I said, we're basically just gonna keep going. We're gonna get bigger and bigger, bigger and better things, man. And you're gonna see this thing evolve. It's gonna turn into a monster, man. As a quote from Goldie, like from the Mac. It's gonna be a monster, man.
Straight up, straight up.
Man, a
Hey, look,
monster.
also real quick though, before we close all the way out, China, did you have any people who had comments in your personal chat that you
No, I
want to
hadn't
give a
even
shout
checked
out
it.
to?
I haven't even checked them. I know that Chastity was on.
Check it real quick and see if you had anybody who had a comment relating to what they've been viewing. I'm gonna
I
check
know
mine.
that Blair was trying to get on your page.
Okay, so
Uh,
shout out to Blair.
well,
Brianna.
the Soto you dig just hit me up on there and said, well, I guess that's Tommy, and it said, well, I don't know. We should head over to the you dig though.
I want to talk to you guys after we go live real quick, if you
Uh,
could.
All right,
Julie's,
look.
yeah,
So go ahead.
Julie B. She said, great show idea, everyone. I love this. I can't wait until we can start chatting in the next one. Yeah, there's a couple of comments on here. But I think that was Tommy that was like, it's 44 minutes ago, him and Blair. Tommy was
Yeah.
like, well.
Okay.
All right, all right. Well, look, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and we might catch you guys at the Soda You Dig if it's going on. I
Yeah,
advise all of y'all
We
or
was just,
recommend all of y'all to go to Soda You Dig. I also want to give a special shout out to Lauren. She said we did a great job. Also a
yay,
shout
Lord.
also a shout out to Obey God. Obey God was basically trying to get in, and I know he had some good information too. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Any big Israel, y'all got any people y'all want to shout out?
Just Solar Nation. Love you guys.
Straight up, straight up, straight up and down. All right, look, y'all have a blessed night and welcome to the Soto Nation Conspiracy. Wow.